It's Friday, August 18. In the headlines, Prime Minister Andrew Holness to participate in New York Independence Gala. 14 Jamaicans awarded evening scholarships. In business news, economic growth for Jamaica in June quarter. Regionally, CARICOM to push for funding at COP28. Internationally, leaders of the US, Japan and South Korea to meet. In sports, the 2023 World Athletics Championships gets underway this weekend. And in entertainment, Etana's legal case against VP Records dismissed. This is the weekend news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. Prime Minister Andrew Holness is set to leave the island on Friday, August 18, to travel to New York in the United States to participate in Jamaica's Independence Gala during the period August 18 to August 22, 2023. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of National Security, Dr. Horace Chang, will be in charge of the government during the Prime Minister's official travel period. Jamaica's connection with the UK continues to strengthen, especially through education. 14 Jamaicans have been awarded the 2023 Evening Scholarships to pursue master's degrees in the United Kingdom. Speaking at a reception at the British High Commission last evening, British High Commissioner to Jamaica, Judith Slater, explained the significance of the scholarship, which is in its 40th year.
Well, this one allows us to build up a network, and as I mentioned, we've got more than 300 Jamaicans now who've been Evening Scholars. A network of people who understand the UK, who are, we hope, have a love, an affection, an affinity, who have lots of contacts in the UK, and who are actively looking to promote UK-Jamaica cooperation.
This year's scholars were chosen from a wider candidate pool of more than 300. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, in her remarks, encouraged the Jamaicans to make use of the opportunity.
The truth is that it's this amazing opportunity once you're there to build friendships. And they're not just friendships, they're networks that can last a lifetime and that can have real professional value. And I really do want to just add my voice to High Commissioners to say, make use of the time, use it well.
Natasha Burnett spoke candidly about the selection process and what it feels like to be chosen from 300 candidates.
I am beyond ecstatic to be chosen for Evening this year, especially as the scholarship celebrates 40 years. I know that me going away to study in the UK will definitely be beneficial to both my personal and professional growth, and also based on what I'll be learning, I'll be able to return to Jamaica to strengthen our linkages as it relates to public education campaigns and how we execute these in communities relating to donors, especially international ones, and government.
Applications for the scholarship's next cohort opens soon. One of the scholars, Mikhail McLeod, has some advice.
The process was very grueling. You had to be very specific about your career journey thus far, as well as your future goals, and put that in a way that the panel could understand and connect it also to Jamaica's development and the program that you wanted to study. So it required a lot of research and also a lot of introspection.
So what advice do you have for the persons who are thinking about going this route to get further their education?
Number one, be confident. You can do it. Others have done it before you, you can too. Number two, do your research. Do your research about the school that you want to get into. Do your research about the program that you want to get into, and how it is that you can tie those details back to what it is that the scholarship requires of you.
The cohort of scholars will pursue their studies in the UK in a variety of fields, including engineering, economics, economic crime, data science and analytics, public health, disaster management, international development, law, and communication. This year's batch of scholars will increase the Jamaican alumni to over 300 since 1984, including one of PBCJ's very own, Gabriel Thompson. Persons living with disabilities are set to have increased access to public buildings and other amenities. This as the Ministry of Labour and Social Security will be launching an accessibility checklist aimed at ensuring access. Portfolio Minister Pernell Charles Jr. says the checklist was designed in conjunction with the Bureau of Standards Jamaica.
That was developed in conjunction with the Bureau of Standards Jamaica. and will allow for us to have across sectors a standard when it comes on to treating with persons with disabilities and the infrastructural requirements to do so.
Mr. Charles says more than 80% of Jamaica's public spaces are still not yet fully accessible to persons with disabilities.
It is including, before I'm asked the question, government buildings, public transportation systems as well, and recreation facilities. So the ministry, we are strident in leading collective efforts to remove these physical barriers that hinder full participation and inclusivity of persons with disabilities. And we encourage also private developers to also maintain these necessary standards.
Minister Charles says a code of conduct will be developed to educate and train persons on how to interact with people living with disabilities.
That will guide your educational institutions, our parents, and all persons involved in the education sector in terms of the engagement with our students and persons with disabilities, and to ensure that an inclusive environment is maintained. And this now is to be reviewed by the Ages Chambers and then laid before the House of Parliament.
For your information, the Disabilities Act makes provision to safeguard and enhance the welfare of persons with disabilities across Jamaica. It also protects and promotes equal rights for the disabled and prohibits discrimination against them. The Buff Bay Tax Office is now at a new location, shop number 1 Sam's Plaza at 7 Thompson Avenue, Buff Bay, Portland. According to the Tax Administration of Jamaica, the new location is open to the public Mondays to Wednesdays, 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Thursdays to Fridays, 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. The TAJ says in a release that the new location provides improved service offerings to include seating for waiting and persons conducting taxpayer service business. Additionally, the authority has designed the banking hall to promote increased service efficiency and improved customer traffic movement. Time now for this week's extended business report with Danita Rodney.
Welcome to the Extended Business Report. I'm Danita Rodney. According to data from the Statistical Institute of Jamaica Statin, Jamaica's point-to-point inflation rate for July 2023 was up 6.6% when compared to the same period in 2022. Director General at Statin, Carol Coy, gave a breakdown of the cause during a press briefing earlier this week.
The point-to-point inflation rate was 6.6%. when the index for July 2023 was compared to that of July 2022. This was mainly attributed to increases in the index for the divisions food and non-alcoholic beverages, which increased by 11.3%, restaurants and accommodation services, which went up by 12.4%, furnishings, household equipment, and routine household maintenance, which went up by 11.3%, and housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels, which increased by 1.4%.
Director Coy also reported an increase in domestic exports for January to April 2023.
Domestic exports, which accounted for 75.7% of total exports, grew by 16.3% due to increased earnings from the mining and quarrying and agriculture industries. Exports from the mining and quarrying industries were valued at $165.3 million, an increase of $81.3 million. This was due to a 142.3% rise in alumina earnings. Earnings from the agriculture industry increased by 3.4%, due primarily to higher exports of yams.
The Jamaican economy grew by an estimated 1.5% during the April to June quarter compared to the corresponding quarter of 2022. This was revealed by Dr. Wade Henry, Director General of the Planning Institute of Jamaica, PIOJ, on Thursday during its quarterly media briefing. Dr. Henry said the review quarter largely reflected increased capacity utilization in the mining and quarrying industry.
The outturn for the review quarter largely reflected increased capacity utilization in the mining and quarrying industry, the continuation of the growth momentum in tourism-related industries, increased demand spurred by higher levels of employment, as well as increased business and consumer confidence relative to the corresponding quarter of 2022.
Now for your market updates. In foreign exchange trading for Thursday, August 17, the US dollar sold for an average of $155.50. The Canadian dollar ended trading at $115.51. The pound sterling traded for $197.62, and the euro sold for $172.53. In JSE trading, the JSE index declined by over 457 points. The junior market index declined by over 10 points. The combined market index declined by over 522 points, and the All Jamaican Composite Index declined by over 757 points. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 104 stocks, of which 39 advanced, 51 declined, and 14 traded firm. Stocks advanced for 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited, 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited Viable Preference, and Barita Investments Limited. Stocks declined for Access Financial Services Limited, AMG Packaging and Paper Company Limited, and Berger Paints Jamaica Limited. Trading firm were Epley Caribbean Property Fund Limited SCC, Epley Limited, and Fostrich Company Limited. The overall volume leaders were Trans Jamaican Highway Limited with over 2 million units, One-on-One Educational Services Limited, and Future Energy Source Company Limited ordinary shares with over 1 million units. In regional stocks, in Trinidad and Tobago, zero securities traded. On the Barbados Stock Exchange, Forest Caribbean International Bank was the volume leader with over 8,000 shares. They were followed by Goddard Enterprises Limited and Cave Shepherd and Company Limited, which traded 1,240 and 1,000 shares respectively. In regional business, in Barbados, Senior Minister Dr. William de Guide says the new 422-room 5-star Sam Lords Castle Wyndham Grand Resort will fill a deficit in the island's conference facilities. He made the comment as officials, including Prime Minister Mia Mottley, toured the site yesterday.
The most important thing is to have a conference facility that can take like 1,100 people. It gives us and opens up a part of our tourism product that has been lacking for a long time, because many people want to have a conference facility that has the hotel right next door and doesn't have that transportation. So what this will add to our opportunities is to bring that, what they call the MICE market, and to get that so that we can actually go after that type of business. And I think that is a significant part, a cog in our tourism market that was lacking, and that's what this hotel will offer for the people of Barbados.
Certainly another 422 rooms on the island would allow us, when we meet with our airline partners, to demonstrate Barbados' capacity for increased airlift into Barbados. When we are on the road meeting with the airline executives, this, along with other developments to come, we showcase and highlight. And it is a wonderful opportunity for us to have additional inventory on the island and to drive airlift to Barbados.
In international business, U.S. stocks closed lower after choppy trading as losses in healthcare stocks weighed heavily on the market.
The Dow and S&P 500 each lost roughly 0.8%, while the Nasdaq dropped more than 1%. Shares of CVS Health tumbled more than 8% on the news that Blue Shield of California plans to cut its reliance on the company as its pharmacy benefit manager and instead work with other firms, including Amazon. Fellow insurers United Health and Cigna also fell, pushing the broader S&P 500 healthcare index lower. Despite Thursday's drop, volatility for stocks has been low, says Melissa Brown, Managing Director of Applied Research at Contigo.
Now, typically that is good, because if I'm an investor, I'm trying to decide whether I want to invest, put more of my money into equities. The idea that with low volatility, suggests I'm not going to, if I put it in today, I'm not going to lose it tomorrow. Or if I lose it, it's just going to be a little bit. But it can also mean that investors don't really know what to do because there's so much uncertainty, and therefore they're not doing anything.
Keeping a lid on losses, Cisco Systems gained more than 3% after the networking equipment maker's fourth quarter results beat estimates, and its CEO talked up artificial intelligence opportunities. Shares of vaccine maker Moderna rose more than 7%, and Novavax gained more than 3%, as U.S. data showed that COVID-19-related hospitalizations are up more than 40% from a recent low hit in June. And shares of Walmart fell more than 2%, despite the retail heavyweight raising its full-year forecasts after beating second-quarter sales estimates.
In market data for oil prices looked set to close down this week following 7 weeks of gain as China's economic woes eclipsed signs of tight supply. Brent crude slipped 65 cents to $83.47 a barrel, while West Texas Intermediate crude edged 61 cents lower to $79.78. And that was the extended business report on PBCJ. I'm Danita Rodney.
Thanks, Danita. In regional news, with Grenada and other Caribbean countries included on the list of states vulnerable to the effects of climate change, CARICOM is expected to lobby for funds to support a member state that suffers loss or damage as a result. GBN News has the details.
According to a Caribbean News Now article, world leaders are preparing for the upcoming COP28. And the Caribbean Community CARICOM is slated to rally for more support on the Lost and Damaged Fund, designed to assist countries most vulnerable to the effects of climate change. The Lost and Damaged Fund came to fruition at last year's COP27 meeting in Egypt, after 3 decades of relentless lobbying by developing nations to make rich nations offer funding to countries that are first hit by climate change. CARICOM is optimistic that COP28 will produce a solid strategy to double adaptation funding. The organization also believes that the fund should be dispersed through grants. Dominica's Prime Minister Roosevelt Scarrett, current chairman of CARICOM, has made an appeal to Sultan Al-Jaber, COP28's president-designate, by putting out a list of requests. In it, Scarrett said, and I quote, "The Caribbean is one of the most vulnerable regions of the world. Climate change for us in the Caribbean is a continuous threat. We are on the front line of the climate crisis, suffering from the ravages of climate change that is not our making." As the COP28 president-designate, we in the Caribbean will count on your leadership to ensure that COP28 is a COP of action. COP28 must deliver actions that are commensurate with ensuring that we keep 1.5 alive. Our lives and that of our children and their children depends on it. Unquote. The United Nations Climate Change Conference, starting in November at Expo City in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, will bring together leaders to hold open consultations on thematic areas and sequencing, inviting inputs from the broad mix of stakeholders that will attend the conference. Chrislita John, GBN News.
Young people in Barbados continue to show a keen interest in robotics as technology of the present and the future. That's according to Interim Executive Director of the Caribbean Science Foundation, Professor Cardinal Ward.
The camp has gone quite well. This is the first time we're back live in person since the pandemic. As I said, we started the camps in 2015, and then we did 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19, and then we have to jump to 2023 because of the pandemic. But there are about 51 campers altogether in 4 different levels. And I have a bunch of new coaches who are well trained. And so it's been working out really well. Most of the campers are in levels 1 and 2. I think robotics now has become commonplace in the vocabulary of almost everyone all around the world. And we see that robots are taking over menial jobs, and Barbados has to be ready for that also, because if the people who work with their hands if their jobs are displaced, maybe they should be making the robots that are taking over their jobs. So we see this as an important step for Barbados, where more and more of our people get associated with robotics, see it as something that they have to embrace, and see how it can help them to make a living, and not the other way around where they see robots as a threat.
In international news, the leaders of the United States, Japan, and South Korea are meeting at the U.S. presidential retreat Camp David. The summit is a first of its kind between three powers, and some observers say this may be a possible step towards a NATO-style collaboration in the region. Al Jazeera's Rob McBride reports.
Three like-minded leaders forging closer ties as they see growing threats common to them all. US President Joe Biden wants to build on the marked improvement in relations between Japan and South Korea. Since coming to office, Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida and his South Korean counterpart Yoon Suk-yeol have set a course to overcome traditional differences.
So the bar is set low, really, to improve relations, and I think Washington wants to sort of institutionalize trilateral cooperation and wants a joint statement in which the two countries commit themselves to enhanced security cooperation.
All three countries have been brought closer by the threat of North Korea's continued weapons development.
In order to fundamentally block North Korea's nuclear and missile threats, the Republic of Korea, the United States and Japan must closely cooperate on reconnaissance assets and share data in real time.
The three have taken part in joint military drills and embarked on intelligence sharing, raising alarms in North Korea's only significant ally.
China is watching this trilateral meeting intensely, suspecting the US and its Northeast Asian allies of trying to restrain its growing power at a time when Beijing's friendship is being eagerly sought by Moscow as it looks for any support in its continuing war in Ukraine.
This was Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu on a recent visit to North Korea, which is allegedly supplying Russia with munitions, followed by the 70th anniversary celebration of the ending of the Korean War, also attended by a high-profile delegation from China.
Of course, it also goes in the other direction. The more that Beijing, Moscow, and Pyongyang cooperate with each other, the more that Seoul, Washington, and Tokyo are going to cooperate with each other as well.
The shifting power blocks of the Asia-Pacific as neighbors seek security and advantage amid increasing insecurity. Rob McBride, Al Jazeera, Seoul.
In sports, the 2023 World Athletics Championships gets underway this weekend in Hungary. Jamaica's sprint legend Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce and discus thrower Frederick Dakers are leading Jamaica's team to the championships. Fraser-Pryce, a five-time world 100 meters champion, is likely competing in her last World Athletics Championships and will be looking to extend her gold medal record in the event when she gets her campaign going on a Sunday at about 5:10 a.m. Dakers, who won the silver medal in the discus at the 2019 installment of the championships, is competing in his fourth World Athletics Championships. There is more good fortune for West Indies players following the T20 International Series victory over India, as several made significant movement on the latest MRF Tires ICC Men's T20 International Player Rankings.
The West Indies defeated India 3-2 in their home T20 International Series last Sunday, having received some outstanding performances from a number of players during the five-game series. Opener Brandon King scored an unbeaten 85 in the decider in Lauderhill, Florida, and that helped the 20-year-old rise 5 places to 13 overall on a new career high on the list of T20 international batters. King scored 173 runs in total for the series, and this was only bettered by teammate and player of the series Nicholas Puran with 176 runs. West Indies left-arm spinner Akil Hussain jumped 3 places to 11 overall on the T20 bowlers rankings following his 5 wickets for the series. West Indies pacer Romario Shepherd also has scores for celebration, with a right-armer making significant ground on the list for T20 bowlers and all-rounders following his Player of the Match performance in the decisive fifth and final match of the series against India. Shepherd claimed career best 4 for 31 in the 8-wicket triumph at the Central Broward Stadium on Sunday and was duly rewarded with a 20-place jump to 63rd on the list of bowlers. Wayne Cunningham, TG Sport.
Time now for the entertainment news with Alicia Steele.
What's up? We're thrilled to have you back on PBCJ's E-News, the ultimate destination for the latest and most exciting entertainment news. I'm Alicia, your host, and I'm here to add some extra fun to your day. In today's headlines, TJ and other local artists face technical issues during their flights. Jada Kingdom opens up about her weight loss journey caused by depression, and Etana's legal case against VP has been dismissed. Keep watching for further updates on these stories. TJ, a dancehall artist, expressed gratitude after the plane he was on with Malidon and a Massacre encountered severe technical issues mid-flight while returning from Guyana. In a social media video, TJ repeatedly thanked God for saving them from what could have been a fatal incident. The plane had to return to Guyana, a decision TJ was happy about. And he added that he would rather die in Jamaica than in a plane in Guyana. Wow. The entertainers had performed at the Guyana Cup Super Concert and were well received by the fans. Jada Kingdom's weight loss last year sparked speculations among internet users. But she has now revealed that it was due to her battle with depression. In a recent Instagram story, she shared throwback photos and explained that her mental health struggles led to her body transformation. Despite her current physique, which is more in line with the thick girl aesthetic her fans are used to, Kingdom loves her look and has even expressed a desire to marry herself. When asked about her workout regime at a Reggae Sum Fest, she revealed that she doesn't work out much but tries to eat clean and occasionally goes jogging. Kingdom has struggled with her weight due to her mental health challenges, including her bipolar diagnosis. When fans speculate that cocaine use was behind her weight loss, she addressed the rumors in a since-deleted Instagram post and live stream, expressing frustration with the allegations. Who wouldn't? She has always defended her natural body and credits her active lifestyle and ex-boyfriend Verse Simmons for helping her achieve her body goals. Reggae singer Etana has lost 3 of 6 claims she made in a lawsuit against former label VP Records and Greensleeve Publishing. The case centers on contracts signed by the Grammy-nominated artist with the companies, including a recording agreement between 2007 and 2014. The matter was partially dismissed in December 2016, but Etana was granted the right to amend her complaint, which she did twice. In the latest version of the complaint, filed in a New York District Court, she reduced her claims from 14 to 6. A pre-trial conference is scheduled for August 28th. It's time to say see you later to another epic episode of PBCJ's E-News. I'm Alicia. Remember that. But before we go, we gotta say big up to all you our amazing viewers. You guys are so great. We also want to give a shout out to Hair Addiction Collections for their support each week. They're totally amazing and affordable hair is of top-notch quality. Seriously, they're the bomb. So, do us a solid and follow them on all these socials at Hair Addiction Collections. And remember, now to live an entertaining lifestyle.
Thanks, Alicia. And that's it for the news on PBCJ. Thanks for watching.